So this topic for me is something that that's definitely been a repetitive pattern in my life, for sure. I think I spent most of my life in hustle mode. So this one rings a real home truth for me, and I've seen the effects of it, and I've seen how it's hurt me. And when you move from hustle mode to flow mode, I like to call it, it's a completely different energy, and you really do get so much more done by slowing down. So I just want to talk to you about that today. So what does the hustle mode look like? And I'm sure most of you have experienced it, or you may be going through it right now. It's when you are working all hours under the sun, when you're in that mode of just doing and doing and doing, and you end up feeling like you're grinding, you're forcing things stop coming naturally to you, because it just feels like you've got to do. And it doesn't matter how much you get done on your list, how much you get done towards your business, you end up feeling like it's never enough. You end up feeling like you're not enough. You start measuring your worth and how good you are based on what you can get accomplished in a day, which means you're also criticizing yourself and judging yourself and being really hard on yourself for not getting done as much as you want to in the day. So it all really ends up being about what you get done, what you do, what action you take. So the problem with this is it gets quite addictive, it gets obsessive, and it just means that you can end up just going from one thing to another without having any space in between, without creating any space for yourself, without even giving yourself time to breathe or look after yourself. You're just like bang, 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 bang. So, and I found when I'm in this mode, I get really, really focused on the micro, not the macro. So I'm really, really looking at the thing I'm looking at that moment, like with such intensity, and I'm forgetting the big picture. I'm forgetting to zoom out and have a look at my vision, to actually check in whether this is actually going to be helping me or not. Because again, when we tend to lean into doership and we're making ourselves busy and it's all about the doing and the action that we take, we end up doing stuff that we don't need to do. We end up doing stuff that isn't making any difference to our business, but we're not allowing ourselves the time or the permission to actually step back, assess if it's helping us or not, because we just feel like we have to get it done. Otherwise, we're not going to be a success, whatever story we're telling ourselves. So we don't give ourselves the time to just step back, take a breath, take a couple of days, assess the business, assess what's going on. Is this working? Is that working? Because it feels like a waste of time, and it feels like we are going to lose something. We're going to miss something. We're not going to make it. It's like those words. It's that feeling, that energy. We're not going to make it if we take this time to stop. We can't stop. I can't stop. So you can tell from the words I'm using and the energy around what I'm saying is this is all coming from a place of lack. This is all coming from a place of scarcity. This is coming from a place of not believing in ourselves, not having trust and faith in the process. And it's not our fault. It's not our fault at all. This is how we're conditioned from a young age. We're conditioned. We have to work hard to get good results. We have to try hard. I was always told in my family that I had to try harder than my sisters to even get the same grades as them. How damaging has that turned out to be in my life? And this is what I put a lot of my former hustler persona down to, is I was conditioned to believe that. I was conditioned to believe that I had to try harder than anyone else to even get the same, let alone I'm the only one that's had the biggest sort of ambitions in my family. So I'm the only one that's going after like crazy goals, you know? So taking that, I have to try harder than anyone else just to get the same. How hard do I have to try to get more? Wow. So, you know, it ends up with me working my absolute arse off. And that's what happened for so long. But the problem is, because you're not creating space for yourself, you tend to then not look after yourself. You don't take any time out. You stop the self-care. You just don't feel like you've got time for anything. And this just leads to burnout, because all you're doing is you're forcing and you're struggling, and you get tired, you get exhausted, but you don't let yourself break. You don't give yourself the space that you need. This is how we were raised. This is how we were brought up. Work hard if you want to do a good job. Work hard if you want to climb up the corporate ladders. You know, that's how we've been raised, isn't it? So, and the problem is also when we're working and grinding, it means that when it comes to things, the mindset work like meditation, visualization, focusing on breath work, these all feel namby-pamby, and they feel like a waste of time, because if we do this, we're not doing that, which means we're not going to get the success. We're not going to get the sales. We're not going to hit the income. We're not going to reach our goal. So it's just all this, I'm doing this to get, I'm trying to get all the time, you know, and if I don't do this, I'm going to lose. It's that whole mentality. So if you've got that whole mentality with every piece of work that you're doing, how is that feeding into the results that you're going to get? How is that feeding into your outcomes? Because it's mixed energy. It's needy energy, isn't it? It's forcing. It's not allowing. So how is that going to manifest itself into results? Well, because you're still coming from the same person that you are. You're not changing. You're not upgrading yourself. You're not looking to the end result, to the end vision, becoming that person and acting from that place. You're still stuck in the cycle. So you're still producing the same results over and over. And that is why hustling doesn't work, because you're getting the same. You might get incrementally better. And I know there are people like Gary Vee's a complete hustler, isn't he? And he's got a tribe. And some people can be successful with it. But most of us can't. Just, you know, we're maybe not wired that way. But for me, certainly, it led to burnout. It leads to feeling not good enough. It leads to stress and overwhelm and panic and not enoughness. It just makes me feel like I'm not good enough, like I can never win, like I can never do anything. And of course, the other thing with it is that you end up feeling like it's just you on your own. Okay, so now I'm making law of attraction a massive part of my teaching and my coaching, because we're not alone. We don't need to do this alone. When we understand the universal laws, when we understand how this stuff works, when we understand what made the billionaires billionaires and the millionaires millionaires, then we can apply the same principles to us. And that is that we are not alone. We have a whole universe conspiring for us, wanting to give us what we want. It just thinks what we want is what we focus on. It doesn't know the difference. There's no negative and positive in the eyes of the universe. So if you think that you're on your own and hustling, then the results you're going to get are going to be extremely limited, because you're only allowing what comes from you. Whereas if you are willing to allow and have faith and trust and just open yourself up to receiving, to being able to attract things that you need, the leverage you have, the power you have then, it's probably not even 100-fold. It's infinite. It's infinite. And this is how you look around and you see people, you see the billionaires, you see people like Richard Branson. He's got the same hours as us. He's got the same time as us. So how's he doing what he does? I know I use him a lot as an example, but I've always been a fan of his. And, you look at superstars, look at Beyonce, anyone like that, singers, they've got, I'm sure she's probably been in films. They've got perfume ranges, clothes ranges, all these other things. Well, they have people, don't they? They have teams. They have other ways of leveraging, but they also are leveraging the universe. They're allowing things to come to them. But when we're putting our heads down and we're stuck in the moment and we're hustle, we're not allowing anything in. We can't see what's even in front of us half the time. So this has been happening to me recently. So the last few months, and the worst thing is I wasn't even aware of it, because your mind, it can create such tricks that you can't even see where you're at sometimes. And because I am, I do a lot of this work all the time, and so many days I was inspired and I'm feeling great and everything. I did feel on top of the world. So that kind of hid it from me. But the fact was, I was waking up every day literally with a sigh, and then I'd get up, do my meditation, shift my vibration, get back on track. But the fact that I even had to get back on track at the start of the morning started to ring a bell to me, to think, what's going on here? Because that's not right. I should be waking up happy and refreshed. So what I had started doing was I'd started getting really, really mechanical with my morning routine, which before was always just very soulful. It was very light. I'd get up, it felt very indulgent. I would, get up before the girls got up, 5:30. That's my time. It's the only time that I have in the day. So I'd meditate, I'd visualize, and I'd absolutely love it. I did it because I loved it. I wasn't doing it to get, I did it because I loved it, and I loved the state it put me in. I loved how in control of myself and my feelings and my mood and my reactions I felt. It was peace and calm and bliss. So all of a sudden, that then became mechanical, where I had to do this by a certain time, this by a certain time. And if I didn't do this by a certain time, it means this would happen. Then I had to get up, and once I'd done all that, I'd have to walk the dog. Then I'd have to do my work and do my 6 things for the day, and then whatever else needed doing. And then I'd have to go and walk the dog again, or go and pick him up. And then I'd have to cook dinner. Then I'd have to clean. Then I'd have to do this. And it just went on and on until I went to bed. And then I'd start again the next morning. And I've been like that for a couple of months on and off. And something's got to give at some point. And it's when I started noticing all my piles of paperwork piling up, and there's just piles like returns that I had to send back that I wasn't getting around to doing. All these things started appearing in the house, physical evidence of the fact that I was hustling. I was in hustle mode because I was telling myself I didn't have time to do it. Why haven't I got time to do it? Of course I've got time to do it. Of course I've got 10 minutes to make 2 phone calls and get rid of a couple of tasks. Of course I've got time to go to the post office and take a returned item back. It doesn't take long, does it? But you get stuck in that mentality of there's no time, there's no time, there's no time. Force, pressure, pressure. And again, it's that scarcity and lack mind. It's struggle, it's force. So I also stopped going to the gym. I didn't go to the gym for a couple of months. And when you get out of the habit, anyone that goes to the gym probably knows that it's quite hard to get back into it again. You have to just go, and I just couldn't get myself back there. I wasn't cooking my meals, nutritious meals. I was always sorting out the girls, but not me. And I was eating rubbish. And it's like, wow, I've actually caught myself here again. So this is not how you get very, very far at all, for all the reasons that I've talked about. And we want to be in a state where we're leveraging the universe, where we feel clear, where we feel inspired, and where we can do more in less time. So I ended up taking a whole week off pretty much last week, and I just let myself really, really slow down and just do what I wanted. If I wanted to watch Netflix, I'd watch Netflix. If I wanted to eat this, I'd eat this, and I just wouldn't judge myself. I really, really slowed down and let myself reset. And what you find is that you end up just raising your vibration again, because you've removed the fear, you've removed the pressure, you've removed the doubt, you've removed the panic, you've removed the stress, you've removed the attachment to I have to do this by this date, otherwise it means I am. You've taken away the stories, you're just being. So just by being and being present, suddenly everything you lift, you feel your whole energy lift, you feel your heart open, you feel your mind open. Suddenly you start getting clarity again, and you start feeling good again because there's no pressure on you. So if any of you are feeling like this at the moment, where you're really hustling, you're feeling really burned out, you're feeling really overwhelmed, and you're fed up, you'll know what your vibration is. If you feel fed up, then you're in a low vibration and you are attracting the same stuff to you over and over again. Then I'd definitely encourage you to just take a bit of time out. We fear that when we take time out, we're going to lose something. We are, we're going to lose something. We're going to miss something. Something's not going to go our way. And it's just not true, because when we take the time out and we rebuild ourselves, we become 5 times more effective, 10 times more, maybe 100 times more. We become so much more effective. So I just wanted to talk to you now about how I feel right now, because the difference is unbelievable. And I want you to be able to hear the energy in me, and I know you'll be able to feel it and you'll be able to see it. And I just want to explain what it feels like now, because it's just, the difference is so crazy. So what I find right now is that my mind feels completely wide open. I'm not worried about anything. There's no doubt, there's no fear, there's no panic, there's no stress, there's no nothing. I'm completely calm and relaxed, which is how I visualize myself feeling at my end result with all my goals achieved. So not only am I feeling good, I am bringing that version of me into now reality, which means it will magnetize my results to me much, much quicker. I'm in alignment with my goals and my vision. I have clarity. I can see, and I mean virtually see, on the screen of my mind. I can just see everything. Everything just, I've got answers. I have inspiration and ideas. Everything feels very, very clear and very, very open. So the first thing, as soon as I got up this morning, did my morning routine, came out of meditation and all the rest of it. And then I scripted out a video for this morning to talk to you. I wanted to talk to you about fear, which I'll do next week instead. And it took hardly any time, and I knew exactly what I wanted to say. It all flowed very, very quickly. Then I went swimming. And while I was swimming, I've decided, yesterday I created a mini sort of vision action board that I want to achieve for the rest of this year, so 3 months. And I've put about 6 or 7 things on it. Some things I can just go and do, but I haven't gone and done them. So it's just to force me to go do it. But one of them, launch a podcast, which I've been wanting to do for like a year. And then I went swimming, and literally all the ideas, I know what I want to call it. I know how I want to structure the first 8 weeks. I know who I want to get in on guest podcasts. I know what topics I want to talk about. And I know all the other topics that I want to talk about, that I can go and look for people to come and be interviewed on it, and all the content I want to talk about it. And I was swimming for 45 minutes and suddenly I've mapped up a whole podcast. Now, how does that happen? If I was forcing and grinding, first of all, I wouldn't have let myself go swimming. I wouldn't have had the time. But if I was forcing and grinding, your mind is just closed. You can't see that. You can't see further than what you're working on right now. And then you've got the stress and the pressure of what's coming next, what's coming next. You get so lost in your mind that you're not present. And when you're not present, you just can't open yourself up to inspiration and ideas and solutions. You end up stuck in the problem, right? You know how I talk about staying in the problem, not finding the solution. So it was just completely different. And then when I got home, and even while I was changing, I kept having to stop and write notes on my phone, because I'm doing a live in Women Help Women Facebook group tomorrow, which is like 500,000 people, which definitely makes me feel uncomfortable. And I just completely mapped out what I want to talk about. Done. Another video. And then I wrote another one. And so I've written so much content and got so much clarity today in a few hours. And that could have taken me all week to do if I was in forcing, hustling mindset, because I couldn't have got the answers. I couldn't have had the clarity. I wouldn't have been able to reach the inspiration, because all I would have been thinking is, what am I going to write? What am I going to write? Is it going to be good enough? How do I do this? What do they need to hear? But I ignored all of that. I just let things come into my mind, and that was it. And it's that easy. So this is what I'm talking about when I'm talking about leveraging it and opening up to inspiration and clarity, because you've got all the answers inside of you. And when you open yourself up, you will get intuitive hits. You will get the ideas, you'll get the guidance, and you'll get prompts, and you'll get nudges from the universe to move you into the right direction, to take you to the people, to take you to the circumstances, and to bring them to you as well. But in forcing hustler mode, you can't see it. All you can see is, it's like you've got blinkers on, right? You've got blinkers on, and all you can see is right in front of you and down, and that is it. Whereas when you go into flow mode, you can see everything. Everything makes sense. Suddenly you internalize all this information. It just makes sense. It's just like bang. It's clear. You get it. You understand. You know exactly what to do, how to be, and you can just let. I'll just catch up on some of your comments. I published a book on this subject. I'll never burn out again. Oh, that's amazing, Joe. Oh, wow. Wow. It just affects our body, doesn't it? And of course, it causes disease, doesn't it? Because your body reacts to it, and you're putting your body through the hormones of stress over and over and over again. And it creates disease in the body. It's crazy. And this is what we're saying, like, thoughts create things. Thoughts create disease. Thoughts can create cures. Thoughts can create wellness. Thoughts create your reality. They can create your dreams, or they can create your nightmares. Thank you. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm glad you enjoyed that week. Do you create a vision board online or a physical one? The one that I did, I've got a physical one that I use, which is my big dream vision board, which I love, and I love seeing it. The one that I did yesterday, I just did in Canva on a grid, just to put a few pictures together. And so I've stuck a picture of it in my bathroom, and I'm going to stick a picture of it down here somewhere, so it's in front of me. And it's literally just to remind me that I need to do it. And of course, your RAS looks out for it, doesn't it? So all the time, whatever you focus on, your subconscious mind processes like millions and millions of bits of data a second. I can't remember the actual number. And your conscious mind can only allow in a tiny portion of that. So your subconscious mind is processing and filtering and getting rid of loads of information all the time. So when we have something in front of us, that it's telling our subconscious, it's telling our RAS, our reticular activating system, that that's important to us. So anything to do with that, it's now looking out for. And so that's how, you know, if you want to buy a new car, you suddenly start seeing that car everywhere. You want to get pregnant, you see pregnant ladies everywhere, because you're being drawn to what your reticular activating system thinks is important to you by what you focus on. So that's why I've done that. Faye, you're in the process of launching a post too, a podcast? That would be so cool. That would be really, really exciting. All of this resonates with me. Wow, I never thought to do a vision board on Canva, and I use it every day. Yeah, Canva's brilliant. And you can have one on your screen. This is an old one. I haven't updated this, and I really should have done. But you can have one as a screen protector, if you can see that. Screen protector, screensaver. So I have one there, and I've also got it as my screen saver on my laptop as well. So it's just everywhere. So what have I missed when it comes to flow? So yeah, you end up really living in the present moment, and you feel gratitude, and you appreciate what you've got, and you appreciate what's in front of you. So again, you're not coming from lack or scarcity or fear. You're coming from enoughness. You feel like you're enough. You're coming from satisfaction. You're coming from gratitude. And the irony is that when you're coming from this place, all of a sudden, the goals that you were desperately striving and seeking for when you were forcing and hustling, it just doesn't matter to you. You don't need them, because what you want all of that to be giving you is how you feel right now. So I don't need that. I like this. This is the end goal, is how you feel is the end goal, right? Everything you're doing is for the feeling you think it's going to give you. If you want loads of money, it's because you want something at a much deeper level, which is likely to be something like, it feels like security, it feels like freedom. And then when you drill down more and more, it comes down to happiness. Comes down to love, it comes down to satisfaction, it comes down to joy. That's what we're all going after, whatever that looks like for you. So it's always a feeling. So if you can feel it now while you're in flow, you don't need it. And the irony is, of course, when you feel like that now, that you're in the perfect vibration to attract it in anyway. So you become a magnet to what you want, because you don't need it and you're already feeling like you have it. So this is why this is so, so important. But it takes, for anyone that's like me, it takes some time to practice and get used to it, because it feels wrong, it feels backward, and it feels like you're doing the complete opposite to what you should be doing, right? So now I'm feeling like this. I know I'm in the right place for what I want. I know that I am a match for exactly what I want. And now I can walk around feeling as if it's been achieved. I can walk around with the feeling of the wish fulfilled, which is what Neville talks about in The Power of Awareness. There's no point in visualizing and doing all these things if you don't walk around during the day as if you've got it. The Secret talks about this as well. You have to believe that it's already yours, it's already done. So creation's already done. You've created it in your mind. It's done. It's yours. Now it's just a case of getting yourself up to speed with it, getting yourself into vibration with it, to the right frequency, getting yourself basically to become a match for what it is. You have to equal it. You have to be a match. Being a match for what it is that you want to bring into your life. So my job now, as would be yours, is staying here. And every time I notice I'm starting to hustle, because guys, like, we have to hustle sometimes. We do have to do work with the masculine energy, especially if we've got, like, I had a challenge running. There's things that need to be done by a certain time. We have to draw on that masculine energy. It's just as important as the feminine energy, but it's when it stays. And it's when it's permanent, and it's when it's dominant. That's the problem. We need this mix of masculine and feminine energy. And it's the feminine energy that allows, that creates, that inspires, and that magnetizes us to the things that we want. And it's the feminine energy that allows us to feel love and gratitude and satisfaction and ease. So always look to see how you can be coming from a place of ease. So I hope that's helped you guys. Faye, I really needed to hear this, Kirsty. Yeah, I think we all do. And Fiona, you needed reminding about this being in the moment and the flow. It's just so important. And actually, it just gets us. I didn't realize, I haven't looked at this at all. Sorry, I had a light across my face the whole time. It just gets us to where we want to be. Not that we want to be looking at this as a destination, because it's a journey. So again, the really important thing here is, how can I be happy in today? How can I be happy in the moment? That's what's going to help you reach your goals, is being happy and feeling those feelings right now. And that needs to become the work. That is the work. But it goes against everything we've ever been taught. So it's a process and it's a journey. So guys, I hope you've enjoyed that. I hope it's helped you, especially sharing sort of what I'm going through. And I'll do that more often, so that you can see it in action, and you can see how I resolve my things and come out of things that aren't empowering me and aren't helping me and aren't moving me towards what I want. So thank you so much for joining me. And if you're watching this later, please definitely comment, replay, drop an emoji. Let me know if you found it useful. Let me know which mode you're in. Are you in hustler mode or flow mode? I'd love to know. And thank you guys. I really appreciate you all. And I'll speak to you again soon. Take care.